When you think of farming or ranching, the words technology or broadband access probably aren't the first ones that come to mind.
When we talk about, farmers in particular, I think there's an oversimplification of what that sector involves. That it is, we have a long history as a nation to be an agrarian nation, but that sector in particular has really evolved to adopt technology.
In fact, you might call farmers America's original innovators.
Farmers have learned how to innovate from day one.
There wasn't farm equipment out there to do some of that, so they were inventing stuff of figuring out how to reduce maybe some of the labor and let machinery do that.
You got to know how to wire a motor, you got to learn how to change oil in your trucks and fix a flat tire, and whatever goes wrong, you got to figure out how to do it, because there's not enough income here, and the margin is not wide enough to be able to hire people to do those kind of things. I just wished I'd have had Google back then, so I could have Googled some of it.
Those still working the family farms today now have Google to help, but only if they can get online. And their modern equipment? Well, it often relies on a good broadband connection as well.
Almost everything we do farming-wise involves the internet anymore.
Doug Hughes is a fourth-generation farmer who works his family's fields in central Illinois. His father and grandfather still farm with him, growing mostly corn and soybeans.
Also have, like you see, some feeder calves, and then my brother has a couple head of hog too. I've been around farming my entire life. I grew up around the equipment. My dad's taught me everything he could probably know what to teach me, and then some every day.
Technology helps Hughes and his family improve their crop yields and ensure their herds are healthy.
We are combining today, and I can see what the combine is doing on my phone. And we take that data and then on the computer analyze. It helps us keep better records and help us be better stewards of our land. On this one program we have, it will show me a satellite image of all of our fields to see if we have any health issues with the plants, helps us make agronomic decisions to see if we need to apply or even not apply, so we don't need to use that chemical or not use that product, so we can save a little money on that.
Dennis Riggs also comes from a long line of farmers.
First of all, we don't drive our tractors anymore. They're all controlled by computers.
His sons are the fifth generation of Riggs to work the land. Their fields sit just a few miles from where Doug Hughes grows soybeans and corn.
Champaign County in the state of Illinois, I think, has one of the largest numbers of centennial farms in the state.
Riggs, whose land is among those centennial farmsteads, adds much of America grossly underestimates the business of farming. Not just in his county, but across the country. And
in agriculture, we have more capital per operation than most other businesses ever thought of. We have held our businesses together for 3, 4, 5 generations, and we don't want that to stop.
Riggs farms about 300 acres and says family members must supplement their income in other ways. So he uses his farm-fresh ingredients in his homemade ice cream, which is sold at the Sydney Dairy Barn, and provides much of what his sons need for Riggs Beer Company, which they founded in 2015.
What makes it cool about our farming operation is I grow the corn, I grow the wheat, I grow the barley for their microbrew, and all of it. So what we can truly say is we take it all the way from the farm to the glass where they serve it.
Of course, Riggs Beer Company has a website, and ever the farmers, it includes a sustainability report. Something every person in the ag industry thinks about.
And it's just kind of all over the board in every phase of agriculture. There's some kind of technology that's not, it may be helping with labor, it's helping us better protect the environment, and it's just helping us be more efficient.
Zippy Duvall is the president of the American Farm Bureau. His family raised dairy cows, and he says today's technology provides solutions to problems his father and later he himself faced almost every year.
If you want to stress a farmer out, you let his help not show up, or his people that work with him not show up, and that is a stress that's undescribable.
As a result, many dairy operations have moved to robotics.
You can have one robot to every 60 or 70 cows. Extremely expensive. But when you work it out and know that that robot's going to be there to work 24 hours a day, and the only time it's going to go out or lay out is when it's maybe broken. And it gives that dairyman an opportunity to take that stress level off of him. And it lets him live a little more normal life where people get up 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning instead of 2:30 in the morning. You know, so, and the cows are being milked after he quits and maybe goes to a ball game with his kids sometime, because I didn't get to do much of that at all.
And that's just scratching the surface. Agricultural technologies and what's often referred to as precision farming is just getting more advanced year to year and even month to month.
We're going to be able to spray individual weeds, which is going to cut down on the amount of chemicals that we have to use on a crop, which will better protect our soil and the water and the land.
Technology and how to leverage internet connectivity is so pervasive in agriculture that it's now part of the curriculum in universities for those pursuing degrees in the industry.
They still talk a lot about the hands-on stuff, but they really include the technology on where they think it's going, but they are excited of where it's going as far as, you know, maybe stepping away from so many people being involved from, you know, food to table type stuff, making it more automated to where there's not that risk of contamination as things go on.
I think that's where innovation's at today, and it's all over the United States. Farmers are taking advantage and coming up with new ways of doing things.
But much of that innovation is not feasible without broadband access on our nation's farms and ranches. It's one reason we must continue to work to connect what's dubbed that last mile.
It's not a luxury anymore, it's a necessity.
Duvall says that although better broadband is needed to support ag, it's not the only reason to connect rural America.
Shame on us that a rural child has to go to McDonald's or the parking lot at Farm Bureau to get internet. Shame on us.
He adds many children who might return to work at family farms won't, simply because the infrastructure is not there to support the internet access they need, or because they can't afford what's now being offered in small communities.
Really in our area, maybe to help costs get down, because like in our local town, we only have about one internet provider that is good, consistent service. So maybe to help our costs go down and finding other companies to have good service.
Obviously broadband's the answer. There's a catch though to me with that. I think fiber, you know, again, probably from a, you know, storms or equipment, and you know, the future is probably the best, but it's also the most expensive. So you're going to have to look at wireless.
Yes, it's going to be expensive, but we figured out how to do it with electricity. There's no reason why we can't figure out how to do it with broadband.